Chapter 12, Part 1. I woke to the red of my eyelids straining out the sun. I was cold, my right shoulder exposed to the breezes of the window, the one that faced the sea. The space beside me on the bed was empty, but the pillow still held the shape of him, and the sheets smelled of us both. I had spent so many mornings alone in this room as he visited his mother, I did not think it was strange to find him gone. My eyes closed, and I sank again into the trailing thoughts of dreams. Time passed, and the sun came hot over the window sill. The birds were up, and the servants, and even the men. I heard their voices from the beach and the practice hall, the rattle and bang of chores. I sat up. His sandals were overturned beside the bed, forgotten. It was not unusual. He went barefoot most places. He had gone to breakfast, I guessed. He was letting me sleep. Half of me wanted to stay in the room until his return, but that was cowardice. I had the right to a place by his side now. I would not let my eyes of the servants drive me away. I pulled on my tunic and left to find him. He was not in the great hall, busy with servants removing the same platters and bowls there had always been. He was not in Peleus's council chamber, hung with purple tapestry and the weapons of former Phaeton kings. And he was not in the room where we used to play the lyre. The trunk that had once kept our instruments sat forlorn in the room's center. He was not outside either, in the trees he and I had climbed, or by the sea on the jutting rocks where he waited for his mother, nor on the practice field where men sweated through drills, clacking their wooden swords. I did not need to say that my panic swelled, that it became a live thing, slippery and deaf to reason. My steps grew hurried, the kitchen, the basement, the storerooms, with their amphorae of oil and wine, and I still did not find him. It was midday when I sought out Peleus's room. It was a sign of the size of my unease that I went at all. I had never spoken to the old man alone before. The guards outside stopped me when I tried to enter. The king was at rest, they said. He was alone and would see no one. But is Achilles? I gulped, trying not to make a spectacle of myself, to feed the curiosity I saw in their eyes. Is the prince with him? He is alone, one of them repeated. I went to Phoenix next, the old counselor who had looked after Achilles when he was a boy. I was almost choking with fear as I walked into his stateroom, a modest square chamber at the palace's heart. He had laid clay tablets in front of him, and on them the men's marks from the night before, angular and crisscrossing, pledging their arms to the war against Troy. The Prince Achilles, I said. I spoke haltingly, my voice thick with panic. I cannot find him. He looked up with some surprise. He had not heard me come in the room. His hearing was poor, and his eyes, when they met mine, were rheumy and opaque with cataract. Peleus did not tell you then. His voice was soft. No, my tongue was like a stone in my mouth, so big I could barely speak around it. I'm sorry, he said kindly. His mother has him. She took him last night as he was sleeping. They are gone, no one knows where. Later, I would see the red marks where my nails had dug through my palms. No one knows where. To Olympus, perhaps. Where I could never follow. to Africa or India, to some village, somewhere, I would not think to look. Phoenix's gentle hands guided me back to my room. My mind twisted desperately from thought to thought. I would return to Chiron and seek counsel. I would walk the countryside, calling his name. She must have drugged him, or tricked him. He would not have gone willingly. As I huddled in our empty room, I imagined it, the goddess leaning over us, cold and white beside the warmth of our sleeping bodies. Her fingernails prick into his skin as she lifts him. Her neck is silvery in the window's moonlight. His body lolls on her shoulder, sleeping or spelled. She carries him from me as a soldier might carry a corpse. She is strong. It takes only one of her hands to keep him from falling. I did not wonder why she had taken him. I knew. She had wanted to separate us, the first chance she had. As soon as we were out of the mountains, I was angry at how foolish we had been. Of course she would do this. Why had I thought we would be safe? That Chiron's protection would extend here, where it never had before. She would take him to the caves of the sea and teach him contempt for mortals. She would feed him with the food of the gods and burn his human blood from his veins. She would shape him into a figure meant to be painted on vases, to be sung of in songs, to fight against Troy. I imagined him in black armor, a dark helmet that left him nothing but eyes, bronze greaves that covered his feet. He stands with a spear in each hand and does not know me. Time folded in itself, closed over me, buried me. Outside my window, the moon moved through her shapes and came up full again. I slept a little and ate less. Grief pinned me to the bed like an anchor. It was my only pricking memory of Chiron that finally drove me forth. You do not give up so easily as you once did. I went to Peleus. I knelt before him on a wool rug, woven bright with purple. He started to speak, but I was too quick for him. One of my hands went to clasp his knee. The other reached upwards to seize his chin with my hand. The pose of supplication. It was a gesture I had seen many times, but never made myself. I was under his protection now. He was bound to treat me fairly by the law of the gods. Tell me where he is, I said. He did not move. I could hear the muffled batter of his heart against his chest. I had not realized how intimate supplication was, how closely it would be pressed. His ribs were sharp beneath my cheek. The skin of his legs was soft and thin with age. I do not know, he said, and the words echoed down the chamber, stirring the guards. I felt eyes on my back. Suppliants were rare in Phaeda. Peleus was too good a king for such desperate measures. I pulled at his chin, tugging his face to mine. He did not resist. I do not believe you, I said. A moment passed. Leave us, he said. The words were for the guards. They shuffled their feet, but obeyed. We were alone. He leaned forward, down to my ear. He whispered, Skyros. A place, an island, Achilles. When I stood, my knees ached, as if I had been kneeling a long time. Perhaps I had. I do not know how many moments passed between us in that long hall of Phaedan kings. Our eyes were level now, but he would not meet my gaze. He had answered me because he was a pious man, because I had asked him as a suppliant, because the gods demanded it. He would not have otherwise. There was a dullness in the air between us, and something heavy like anger. I will need money, I told him. I did not know where these words came from. I had never spoken so before to anyone, but I had nothing left to lose. Speak to Phoenix, He will give it to you. I nodded my head, barely. I should have done much more. I should have knelt again and thanked him, rubbed my forehead on his expensive rug. I didn't. Peleus moved to stare out to the open window. The sea was hidden by the house's curves, but we could both hear it, the distant hiss of waves against the sand. You may go, he told me. He meant it to be cold, I think, and dismissive, a displeased king to his subject, but all I heard in him was wariness. I nodded once more and left.